I have a natural caution, an instinct that has served me well in a world where people can be cruel to one another. The problem is that evil is cunning. It thrives when you believe you're at your safest. That's what's happened to me. I dropped my guard, and I count myself lucky that I'm still breathing to tell the tale. Dusk is fast approaching as I manoeuvre the narrowboat into a secluded berth along a tranquil stretch of water. The air is cool, carrying the smell of damp earth. I moor up the boat, enjoying the final calls of birdsong from along the bank and the water lapping gently at the hull. It's an old boat, but the interior is warm, and I find the smell of mildew and aged wood strangely comforting. The cabin feels smaller as night rushes in. I try to lose myself in a worn paperback, but I'm absolutely shattered. It's not long before my head starts nodding forwards, and the book begins to slip from my fingers. And that's when I hear it. A soft, scratching sound, barely audible above the gentle creak of the boat. I follow the noise into my bedroom and turn to the small cabin window. It's on the other side, something snuffling and scratching around. I walk over to the curtain and pull the fabric back. I'm suddenly startled as I catch the dark shape of an animal's head darting away. I lean in closer to try and spot what it is, pressing my face up against the pane, but it's gone. I let the curtain fall back into place. I curl up on my bed and watch a movie on my phone. I'm barely past the opening credits when I hear a panting sound coming from the door. I feel a flicker of fear, knowing that whatever it is has now boarded the boat. I try to calm myself down. It's just an animal, I tell myself. It's curious. Soon it'll get bored and move along. But it doesn't move on. The heavy breathing turns to a high-pitched whimper. It's a peculiar sound, throaty. Whatever it is, it's trying to get my attention. There are some loud scuffling sounds and I feel obliged to intervene. I don't want it doing any damage to the boat. I grab my torch and head down the dark corridor towards the noise. A flutter of nerves dance in my gut as I suddenly doubt my actions. I reach the door, my hand hesitating on the latch. Suddenly, there's absolute silence, as if whatever is outside is aware of my proximity, like it's baiting me. I slide the bolt back and open the door a crack, peeking out into the darkness. The light from my torch spills onto the decking and the empty gravel path that stretches the canal. But there's no animal, no eyes reflecting the light, just a whole load of nothing. I open the door wider, poking my head fully out, and shine my torch around. A breeze lifts the hair from my forehead. "Anybody there?" I call softly, my voice sounding strange in the quiet, my sense of foolishness growing. It's gone. I scared it away. Job done. I retreat back inside, securing the door behind me. I'm now wide awake, my adrenaline spiked. I make a cup of tea, the kettle's familiar whistle a comforting sound. I sit at the table, the mug warm in my hands, and try to laugh off the night's events. Fancy getting worked up over the local wildlife. But as I sip my tea, I can't shake the feeling of unease. It's a small thing, an animal snuffling around my boat, but it's enough to remind me that I'm out here alone, and as much as I try to rationalise the fear away, it lingers, a whisper in the back of my mind that maybe, just maybe, something about this situation isn't quite right. I have just settled back into an uneasy semblance of calm when a new sound creeps through the stillness. It's as if something, or someone, is moving around up on the roof. I get a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. Then there's a thump at the window behind me. I stand up and turn, the chair scraping loudly against the floor. I pull back the curtain and see the face of a swan staring back at me. It's so absurd that I almost snort with laughter. It's peeking down at me from the roof of the boat, its neck bent at a peculiar angle. What the hell is going on here? I think to myself. I rush down to the far end of the boat, my fear suddenly overcome with a giddy sort of joy. I want to see what on earth this silly creature is doing up there. I sneak out onto the deck, a gleeful smile slapped across my face as I poke my head up over the lip of the roof. Nothing can prepare me for what I see next. There's a hulking figure bent down in the moonlight, a dead swan tucked under his arm. He's jerking it around in a twisted parody of life as he makes strange hissing and spitting sounds. As I recoil in horror, he looks in my direction. He calmly climbs to his feet. I see now that his hand is buried deep inside the limp bird, blood trickling down his forearm. He's using it like a grotesque puppet. The sight of it makes me want to be sick. My revulsion seems to please him, and his fat lips curl into a sneer. He holds out the swan and snaps its beak at me. I jump at the sound and disappear back into the boat, slamming and bolting the door behind me. What the flying fuck did I just see? My mind is a frenzy, the world around me a blur as I frantically shuffle about on the spot, not knowing what to do next. What kind of a twisted freak wears a dead swan on their hand like a bloody puppet? Heavy footsteps pass above me and jump down onto the decking. The door starts rattling violently, accompanied by a frenzy of shrieks and hisses. I pull my phone out of my pocket, attempting to focus my mind and call for help. But shit, there's no reception. My eyes frantically dart around for something to defend myself with, and I grab a meat tenderizer off the draining board. The footsteps are on the roof again. Then silence. I turn on the spot. The quiet is somehow worse. The boat gently rocks from side to side, creaking. Thump. There's a bang at the window as the swan's head smacks against the glass. It presses down as it moves in a circle, leaving messy streaks. Then the head draws back into the shadows before being propelled forwards. Thump, thump, thump. The head is battering the window pane. Each strike is a visual nightmare, the mangled creature disfiguring further with every hit. Cracks spiderweb across the glass. Then with a final, vicious blow, it shatters. The swan's head bursts through, its neck hanging limp, the body wedged in the open pane. There's a hiss from above, a sound so shrill and unnatural it makes my blood run cold. The pacing on the roof resumes, more erratic now, as if the lunatic is consumed by some frenzied excitement. The boat continues to sway, as items start tumbling off the shelves and crashing onto the floor. It's pure insanity. The footsteps bolt off towards the door again, and it starts to shake. My grip on the tenderizer tightens. He's trying to get inside. He starts hitting it with force, trying to smash it open, the frame vibrating with every hit. I brace my body against it, trying to stop it from caving in. I watch, my heart in my throat, as one of the hinges starts to buckle. My mind races with panic, with the realization that I can't escape. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. A fist breaks through the top of the door. It's covered in guts and feathers as it feels around and grabs my hair. I grit my teeth and lash out with the meat tenderizer. There's a shriek as he tries to withdraw his hand, but it gets stuck. I help it back through to the other side with a few solid blows. He screams, and the battered hand flaps around before receding out of sight. There's a lot of swearing and shrieking as the door is kicked and rammed harder and harder. my body absorbing the hits as best I can until I feel like I can't hold it together any longer. But then, as if out of nowhere, the onslaught stops. Silence falls over the boat. My chest heaves, my breath's elevated to rapid, desperate gasps. I keep my body wedged up against the door for what feels like an eternity, too scared to move, before finally slumping onto the floor. I'm exhausted. I stay that way until the first light of dawn filters through the window. Then I quietly unlatch the door and chance a look onto the roof. As soon as I see that the coast is clear, I move quickly, eager to leave. I haul the bird carcass into the bushes and then go to untie the boat, when the sound of panting behind me makes me jump with fear. I spin around to see a dog sniffing at the edge of my boat. A man, wrapped up against the morning chill, walks down the path towards me. "Morning," he chirps. I stare back at him, unsure how to respond. "You know, you might not want to hang around here," he says, his voice low. "There have been incidents, bad things happening to good people." His eyes are serious and worried. "There are some real odd sorts out here. Best to be avoided." I nod, and he offers a friendly smile and continues on his way, pointing at my boat as he passes. "Your window is broken," he says. My sore eyes watch him walk away. I grab the meat tenderizer and tuck it into my belt. Then I start up the engine and slowly crawl away, off down the canal.